Welcome to the second board webinar in this series, where we're going to discuss how to forecast revenue for comparable and non-comparable stores. Here you can see today's agenda. This will be a short 10-minute webinar, so I will skip my introductions to save some time, but you can find more information on our website, or you can contact me via LinkedIn. Sonum has been implementing planning solutions in different industries, and in the retail industry we came across challenges which were very specific for this business. Each retailer was confronted with the difficulty of preparing a detailed forecast. Preparing a weekly forecast for each individual store can be a very time-consuming task. Based upon the several implementations we performed, we have identified several challenges and created solutions for them, which we'll present in 4 short webinars. In this webinar, we will explain the different calculation mechanisms applied for comparable and non-comparable stores. We will demonstrate our solution using Board. As I said, we've identified several challenges in the retail industry, and we've divided these challenges across 4 short webinars. We're currently at the second webinar in this series, and in this webinar I'm going to show you the difference of calculating forecast for comparable and non-comparable stores. So the challenge of this week is calculating revenue for the comparable and non-comparable stores. And the big difference is the fact that there is no reference data for non-comparable stores, where there is reference data for the comparable ones. This difference gives the need for different mechanisms used in the forecast solution. Comparable stores will have the ability to start the forecast with previous year actuals, whereas the non-comparable ones will need to start from scratch. In our solution, you have the ability to select the store characteristics dynamically. This means you can easily change a store from non-comparable to comparable when there is a full year of reference data available. Solution for the non-comparable store means that you can input data on a year total level, and that this data will be allocated over the weeks, based on the seasonality and on the store status. The store status means if a store is open or closed. A more detailed explanation about this can be found in our first webinar in the series, where we elaborate on the store status. The comparable stores will be pre-populated with the last year actuals as a baseline, and from here on you will have the ability to amend the store with a like-for-like ratio. So in this case we apply a driver on it. This ratio can be inputted on an aggregated level, such as formula or region. And after this input, you still have the option to adjust the data on a yearly level, which in its turn will be allocated on the lowest level, which is the weeks. The software that has been used to create this demonstration model is Board. Board is a one-stop solution that can be used for analysis, BI and CPM, and can be tailored to the specific needs of a client. We invite you to visit the website of Board or to contact us if you want to know more about all the possibilities it offers. I will now start the demonstration and I will show you how the revenue can be planned for non-comparable stores and for comparable ones. So here we are at the main screen of our Board demonstration model. Let's start by having a look at the store settings screen. Here in the store settings screen, we can see all of the stores we set up so far. Here you can see that these stores are linked to Formula 1 and they're located in the region of Belgium. And we can also see the opening dates of these stores and some closing dates. Here in the middle we can see the store type, and at the end the attributes. As for the opening date, we can input this manually, or we can use a calendar. For the store types we use checkboxes, and for the attributes, drop-down menus. Now if we take a look at store number 1, we can see that it's opened in May 2014, which makes it a new store, because in this case we're going to forecast for the year of 2015. This means that there's no full year of actuals yet on which we can apply a like-for-like ratio, and because of this we will apply a seasonality. This seasonality will allocate the data we've input on a year level in a certain pattern in which we expect the revenue to be generated over the year. If after this first year we would like to change the storage setting, we can here, for example, uncheck the new box and make it a comparable store. In this case I do not want to do this, and if we're sure that the selections we make in the storage setting screens are correct, we can go to the non-comparable gross input screen. Here we can see I already made a planning for store 1 in 2015, and we can do the same for the other stores. Say 10 million, 5 million, and 2 million. And once we made a planning, we can submit our data, and now a process will run which will spread the number we input based on the preloaded seasonality over the weeks. How the seasonality works exactly will be explained during our next webinar. Now we can take a look at the report screen, and here we can see that the seasonality divided the number we input based on this preloaded seasonality over the weeks. Also notice that board is able to show graphs and tables at the same time, and we can even make a selection on a specific store. Besides this, we are also able to make selections on the graphs, which makes it easy to focus on a certain period. And here we can easily return by the click of a button. Now that I showed how we can deal with the new stores, we can take a look at the comparable stores. And if we go to the store settings screen, we can see that I've already set up some of them. If we go to the gross sale adjustment screen, we can see that the previous year actuals are used as a baseline, and on these actuals we apply a like-for-like ratio. Here in the third column we can make adjustments, which in their turn will be distributed to the lowest level, which in this case are the weeks. Because of the last column, we can see the final number we're going to use in our planning, and with this certain type of setup it's really easy to see how your budget was created and how a certain figure was derived. So far for the demonstration for today. I'm going to finish with a short wrap-up. So everybody wants to have a more detailed budget, greater flexibility, and spend less time creating it so there's more time for analyzing. In this webinar, I've showed you can achieve this with different store characteristics and different mechanisms connected to them. Next week, we'll go more deeply into the seasonality and the like-for-like ratio, and we will also show you how different period roll-ups can be used in order to report differently on the data. I would like to thank you for joining this webinar, and I hope to see you during our next session.